Hello again. Welcome to Due Process. I'm TODD YEARY. The clock is ticking as the nation waits for final action on President Biden's Build Back Better plan, which is intended to strengthen the social safety net. The final figure to be negotiated is much lower than the original amounts proposed by Budget Committee Chair Senator Bernie Sanders. Expected to be just shy of $2 trillion, the bill has been negotiated around key issues such as climate change and the environment, child care and child tax benefits, Medicare expansion, and education, including universal pre-K and HBCUs. It is the latter that continues to be of concern, even as there is a bit of uncertainty as to the level of funding for HBCUs that have been severely hampered due to the ravages of COVID-19. However, on Thursday afternoon, Congresswoman Joyce Beatty, chair of the Congressional Black Caucus, released a statement indicating that HBCUs were included in the final version of the negotiated bill, along with other critical agenda items that are important to the members of the caucus and their constituents. These include the child tax credits and housing vouchers. At this time, we don't have the specifics of what is included, and most estimates indicate that the HBCU provisions will fall well short of what is needed to address the historic disparities in federal funding for higher education institutions. But we will continue to monitor the progress of the negotiations around Build Back Better to ensure that what is built back is better for all of us and not just some of us. This week, hundreds gathered to call attention to the lack of investment in the investigation into Jelani Day's death, as the family still awaits some conclusive information concerning how Jelani was killed. The current national climate around high-profile investigations clearly demonstrates the disparities in how public safety and policing resources are used depending on who the victim is or who the victim is believed to be. While the investigation into Gabby Petito's disappearance and death drew much national attention, the death of Jelani continues to require persistent follow-up and demands from those who now stand with the Day family looking for answers. Even as the investigation is ongoing, according to law enforcement officials, we will continue to stand with the Day family to ensure that every available and necessary tool needed to fully investigate Jelani's death is indeed brought to bear in this case. Meanwhile, judicial bias has run amok in the Kyle Rittenhouse trial, as the judge in that case, Judge Bruce Schroeder, has ruled that the defense attorneys can refer to the victims who were shot by Rittenhouse as rioters and looters, not as victims. This curious ruling raises the potential risk of criminalizing those who were injured and killed as a result of Rittenhouse's renegade rampage in Kenosha, Wisconsin, one which he said was to defend against the unrest that was triggered by the shooting of Jacob Blake by a Kenosha police officer. Stay tuned for other developments from the Rittenhouse trial. In Oklahoma, Julius Jones's execution date has been set as the U.S. Supreme Court vacated the stay of execution for Jones and John Marion Grant. As I shared with you a few weeks ago, Jones was convicted of murder in the killing of Paul Howell. Juror bias and racial animus was evident in the deliberations, warranting many to call for clemency in Julius Jones's case. Now all eyes are on Oklahoma Governor Kevin Stitt to see whether he will affirm the recommendation of the State Pardon and Parole Board to commute Jones's death sentence. The board met last month. However, the governor has indicated that he will await the conclusion of the clemency hearing scheduled for Monday before making a final decision. Claudette Colvin continues to live with the stigma of an arrest record almost 70 years after she refused to give up her seat on an Alabama city bus. Ms. Colvin, now 82 years old, refused to relinquish her bus seat 9 months before Rosa Parks did likewise. Ms. Colvin, who was 15 years old at the time, had been chided to get off the bus by white riders and refused. She was the first person arrested and charged as a juvenile. Claudette Colvin was one of 4 named plaintiffs in the star witness in the Supreme Court case Browder v. Gale. Now she is fighting to have her juvenile record expunged. While the expungement would be appropriate for Ms. Colvin, she says she is doing it so that her grandchildren and great-grandchildren would know that she stood for something that changed all of our lives. Rainbow Push Coalition will stand with other civil rights organizations in support of Ms. Colvin's petition for expungement. It is the least we can do for her as she tells the story to our grandchildren and great-grandchildren that she did something good for all of us. Finally, October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and the Rainbow Push Coalition stands in solidarity in the fight to defeat this deadly disease. Each year in the United States, about 255,000 women get breast cancer and 42,000 women die from the disease. Though uncommon, men also get breast cancer, with about 1 out of every 100 breast cancers diagnosed in the U.S. being found in men. Most breast cancers are found in women who are 50 years old and older, but breast cancer also affects younger women as well. We encourage all women to have informed, proactive conversations about breast cancer, know the benefits of early detection, as well as your family history to help inform prevention, diagnosis, and intervention. To those who work every day combating breast cancer, thank you for your work. And to those who are battling breast cancer and those who are survivors, thank you for your courage. You show all of us how to keep hope alive. I'm TODD YEARY, and that is this week's Due Process.